David, do you think Joe's right that the Conservative Party's full of cranks?
I mean, the things...
Nonsense, surely.
No, the thing... Well, I mean, I'm no fan of what I call the fake Conservative Party. They're not Conservative. That's the problem. The problem isn't the things that Joe was saying. There is a real problem with 15-minute cities being brought in Oxford. They were going to bring them in Canterbury. They're not anymore. But in other places, which are going to restrict people's movements and put gates around different areas of the cities. No, that is something that is happening in Oxford.
True.
It is true. It's happening. It's happened already happened this year. But you know, I don't want to talk too much about that because the we can if you want to, but the Conservative Party, as I was saying, is not Conservative anymore. The problem is that they are not supporting traditional family values, low taxation, a small estate. Yes, we want good healthcare, but the thing is, what are you going to do? Just pump more and more money into the NHS, which is vastly inefficient. We need to be smart about how we spend our money.
But that's exactly what Wes Streeting's been talking about, David.
You wouldn't trust Labour to be able to do that.
Well, yes,
I mean, they've got a record in the Times before.
Where I will say David is right, Joe, and you must see this. How many times has the Labour Party spent getting rid of non-dom tax status now?
Wes Streeting is the first Shadow Health Secretary who has actually talked about 18 months ago, or when he was first appointed, he's actually talked about the need to modernise and the need for the NHS...
It's different from reform, though.
No, it isn't, because reform is actually about the way they work. And we've seen in the last few weeks a couple of hospitals who failed to send out tens of thousands of letters to patients because of an IT glitch or because of something. We've got IT systems that don't marry up with GP surgeries. We've got an absolute lack of joined-up thinking, and the Labour Party, who you could argue hold the NHS much more as a sacred cow, have been willing to say it needs to change.
Do you think it was a mistake, David, for Keir Starmer to come out so strongly against the Rwanda migrant plan, to say that even if it works, he still will remove it?
That is actually one thing I do agree with him on, because I think it's a gimmick. You know, from the very beginning, it was only going to deal with a very, very small number of migrants that would be sent to Rwanda, and we would take the same number of people back from Rwanda, so it wouldn't reduce the number of people in this country anyway, and we're paying the Rwandan government 120 million for the privilege. But we do have to stop the boats and get a grip of immigration as a whole.
Well, so I would just say on the 15-minute cities policy, we haven't seen exactly how that plays out, but it is true that local councils and also government have implemented quite anti-car policies.
That's a different thing.
That is very true.
But that is not stopping people from going to the shops, which is what a Conservative minister said on television and to the conference. He said councils were allocating a period of time when people were allowed to go to the shops. That is absolutely not true.
And I'd love to have this debate in longer form